Hello, my name is Angelika Gundermann. I'm a research associate at the German Institute for Adult Education in Bonn. As participant of the DELPHI pilot course, I developed this concept for an interpretive planning for a workplace. Here are my agenda points. I will talk about the idea and the area we are dealing with here in Bonn. I will present you the group and its activities, the connection with local engagement and European values. I will talk about the media we are planning and, of course, about the connection to heritage interpretation. And last but not least, about first results and our future plans. Yes, the idea, the initiative for the project arose from a group of colleagues at the German Institute for Adult Education, short DIE, when I presented the DELPHI project in a staff meeting. I mentioned that the area where we work is a heritage or aroused the interest of a group of colleagues. They expressed their interest in learning more about the assets surrounding their workplace. My suggestion to the group was to research if there are values that may be connected with the assets, for example, conceptions of democracy, and to give input to the group on the principles of heritage interpretation. The group is mainly interested in learning more about the pieces of art and architecture on their workplace. But they also want to create a learning experience for externals who normally can't gain access to the area, and for visitors who come for business purpose. The group invited the art delegate of the DIE, that is a person that, for example, organizes exhibitions at the Institute, to join the group, and she accepted, and we were very happy. So the work of the group is integrated into the cultural initiatives at the Institute, and hopefully the results of the group's work can be presented on the DIA homepage one day. That would provide a sustainable access. The assets we are talking about are sculptures and architecture as well as garden design. Since the 1950s, the Federal Republic of Germany runs a program called Art at Buildings, in German Kunst am Bau. It funds the purchase of works of art, mostly sculptures, in relation to public building activities, for example, administration buildings as ministries or city halls. The area in question encompasses a vast terrain of 132,000 square meters. In 1974, two high-rise buildings with a cross-shaped ground plan were built, the so-called Kreuzbauten, that means cross buildings. This is a photograph where you can see one of the buildings, one of these cross buildings. It's about 14 floors high. There's another one. And in the foreground, you see a sculpture by the German artist Ansgar Nierhoff. In addition, there are 4 smaller buildings. And in one of these buildings, the German Institute for Adult Education has its residence. Besides the architecture, as you can see, there are several sculptures on the area, and the open area is designed with footpaths and beds with shrubs and other plants. Here are some more photographs. There are even trees on the lower level. That was in this photograph. Yeah. Since 2004, the area is listed as heritage. Access to the highly secured fenced area is restricted to employees and registered visitors of the Federal Ministry of Education and Research and the other federal institutions on the site. What were the activities until now? The group had 5 meetings. During the first meeting, by means of brainstorming, all participants explained their ideas about possible objectives and activities. For the second meeting, the group accepted the proposal to get insight in principles of heritage interpretation. In the next 3 meetings, the group got input by methods of design thinking from another project involved in this topic at the DIE. So target groups were defined and ideas about their needs and interests were developed by using personas. In the next step, the group prioritized possible target groups. For example, there is the staff of the institution situated on the area, the visitors of the institutions, the residents in the neighborhood, the citizens of the city of Bonn, teachers and students, and university students, at least. Further activities were the online research on the assets and on local associations or initiatives that may be interested in the field. First results show that there is only scarce information on the actual assets on the area. There is no material to inform the public in depth on the assets and the history of the area. In the next step, the group will discuss how to contact the identified local associations and other persons of interest, for example, architects, artists, locals who were involved or contributed in the past to the development of the area. Yes, and so we are at the local engagement subject now. The group, first of all, the group itself may be regarded as local, as they daily come to the area. As well, the employees of the organizations on the area are locals in this sense. By researching associations that work in the field of local history, for example, clubs and others in the area, more locals can be included in the project. The group identified neighbors and citizens of Bonn as one target group, so that in the next step, context will be made. And, for example, in interviews, to ask the people living around the area what they wish or demand in respect of the area. As part of the DELPHI project team, I was aware of the connection to the European values and developed a potential main theme as a working hypothesis. It is: art and architecture reflect the aspiration and the democratic values of the capital city of the Bonn of the new German Republic. The choice of a main theme and special phenomena has not yet been considered. This will be decided after the group concluded the preliminary works and will be part of the finalized conceptual plan. The final definition of a main theme can only be done in collaboration with the co-creators after the works mentioned before are finished. The DELPHI project will provide a learning pathway on the DIE-hosted web platform wb-web.de that addresses adult educators to learn about EU values and how they can be integrated in courses of adult learning that can be used for the same. That's only in German language, unfortunately, until now. That's about the media we will use. Planned are all sorts of media until now. The group collected ideas in a brainstorming, and here's a very large scope of ideas. It starts with the classical leaflet, and you see guided tours, virtual tours, websites, and apps. Panels on the area with QR code. It's possible to inform the local media, to cooperate with local companies, and there could be also courses or lectures at the local adult education center and even at the local university. The decision on how to realize which ideas has to be part of the planning process in the future. Not least, the choice depends on the selection of the target groups. The second meeting of the group provided a first overview, as I already mentioned, on methods of heritage interpretation. Moreover, the participants developed interpretive talks on different assets that helped them to understand the opportunities the concept of heritage interpretation provides. The participants liked the approach, especially the inclusion of emotional aspects, and they were interested in the finding of new perspectives in the first-hand experience. At the same time, the participants, who are all working in the field of adult education, were aware of the strong parallels between heritage interpretation and up-to-date adult education as a holistic concept that includes emotions too. In the future, the group will get more acquainted with heritage interpretation. The DELPHI project will provide a learning pathway on the DRE-hosted web platform, wb-web.de. It addresses adult educators to learn about principles of heritage interpretation. Okay. Just to sum up, the first results of the project planning is the installing of the group at the DRE. About 8 participants work together and are interested in the outcomes of the DELPHI project and to become acquainted to the principles of heritage interpretation. In this way, the DELPHI project target group of adult educators is addressed. Hopefully, by means of the learning pathways, the interest in heritage interpretation and European values is amplified. The group is interested in finding a main theme that fits well to these aims. As a DELPHI project team member, I want to encourage this, but it is up to the group of co-creators to decide on this. To prescribe a main theme by the DELPHI project team would be contrary to the idea of a bottom-up process. When the process of defining possible target groups is finished, further decisions on main theme, phenomena, and media can be made. In the end, the group will create multimedia material for a web page and find ways to convey information and give interpretation on the assets of the area, both to the employees and visitors and to people who don't have direct access. This aim needs much more time and is an open-ended process. As the area is a governmental space, the activity of the group has to be well coordinated with the responsible department. And that needs a good portion of diplomacy and patience too. That's the end. I thank you very much. And I would like to hear your comments or your questions to the concept I presented.